Good evening, and welcome to WCCB Local News at 5. I'm lead anchor, Chad Chattington.
I'm your co-host, Alice Allison.
And I'm Bruno with sports and weather.
The Velocipede, New Age fad or satanic German death machine? But first, in national news, continuing coverage of the Battle of Fort McHenry in Baltimore by the British. Starting at dusk last night, the British have been raining down an unprecedented amount of ordnance on the fort.
That's correct, Chad. We will try to answer some of the questions being sent to the newsroom, but first, we go live to Francis Scott Key on location to gain a status update on the battle.
Thank you, Alice. I'm just outside Fort McHenry, and we're trying to get close enough to determine if the fort is still standing. The bombing started last night and hasn't stopped since. I'll tell you, folks, the sky has been lit up with red glares non-stop. The British have said they want to make this a quick stop on their way to winning the war. Chad, we are going to try to get closer so we can get some good shots of the fort. I'll let you know when we get there. This is Francis Scott Key reporting from Fort McHenry during what some have called the War of 1812. Back to you.
Banana peppers are spicy. Crap, I thought we had more time.
Live from Fort McHenry, thank you, Francis, for that harrowing update. But enough of our fledgling democracy resting at a knife's edge. Bruno, how's the weather look this weekend?
Thank you, Chad. Let's take a look at all 18 states. So we got a heat wave coming in from Missouri, because as you can see, this whole thing, that's Missouri. Taking a look down at our southern border, Georgia, got a cold front brewing, a real blue wave, if you will. But don't worry, up here in Cleveland, we can expect sunny skies through Sunday.
Wow, really, Bruno?
No, it's gonna be terrible, Chad. It's gonna be awful. Snow and rain for days, all gray. Good luck getting those crops indoors before the entire harvest is ruined. You like boot leather, Chad? I hope you do, because that's what's on the menu if you try to pass the I-90 Northwest Passage.
Hey now, Lewis and Clark didn't have a fancy weather map, and they did just fine. Okay, now let's get back to Francis with another breaking update.
Welcome back, Alice and our viewers. As you can see, there's a lot of commotion here. We've just seen soldiers from the fort reinforce one of the gates. My countrymen, I cannot begin to express the number of cannonballs and mortar shells that have landed in and around the fort. This has been the darkest night, interrupted by red glares from what I would call just massive overkill of rocket fire. The largest explosions I have ever seen. Fire is raining down on these free men, soldiers who have already given so much for this country, under what would normally be a beautiful starry sky. We would have good footage of this for our viewers, except that our cameraman has decided to only work 3/5 of the time. The British are now reporting that we will soon see the Union Jack flying over the remains of the fort. They believe the Americans will tuck tail and run, leaving the fort abandoned. Francis Scott Key reporting from location. Back to you in the studio.
Beautiful description, Francis. Almost makes you wonder how we're the 6th rated newsroom in Cleveland.
6th out of 5. Did Francis just use the fraction I think he used?
Come on, Alice. Francis is a great guy. Give me a break. Have you read his poetry? It's breathtaking. Now that's a man who knows what it means to be free. Just spent a weekend on his family's farm. Huge! I'm sure he didn't mean anything by it. And I'm glad that's something we can all Francis Scott agree on. Okay? Oh! Looks like it's time to go to you, our audience, via carrier pigeon, in our segment called Voices from the Rabble.
I call them tweets. Jasper Clovetooth asks, is it difficult to believe that Mr. Key is an American hero, given the fact that he himself is a slave owner?
That's not a question.
Well, it is a question, but it brings up an important point.
Well, the question is Francis an American hero just because he wrote a poem? Is that where we stop? How do we recognize that it was just one part of who he is? Because it's all important. We need to make sure our history books tell the full story, not just one perspective. Include issues all people had.
A very passionate weather sports anchor, Bruno. I hate to cut you off, but I'm told there is an update at Fort McHenry.
Alice, Chad, Bruno. The cannon fire has stopped. In fact, it is as quiet as a mouse here at Fort McHenry. We're just waiting for dawn to fully break so we can see what everyone expects to see. The British flag being raised over the ruins of Fort McHenry. The symbol of Americans being outclassed in the world, their spirits being broken, the great American experiment ending before it really got going. The British, and the rest of the world for that matter, believe that America is not ready to join the world's conversation. This will prove them right. A British officer told me that Americans are low-class people with no heart, that they will just give up. Back to you, Chad. Hey, look, I'm sorry about that three-fist comment from earlier. Look, we're a team. I'm the field reporter, and you're my field...
Francis,
What did he say?
he said that the American experiment has failed.
He said the cameraman was a... I'm not going to say it.
I'm not saying it.
Not going to say what? That the American experiment failed?
That's not what we're talking about.
Everyone knows what we're talking about.
Well, it seems we've lost Francis's feed. I'm told the camera is damaged.
Maybe he was hit by a cannonball.
There is audio, though. I hear cheering. I don't know if it's British or American. I am hearing that we might be able to put Francis through.
Can you hear me? Am I on?
Yes, Francis. We can hear every word you are saying.
What happened to you, Francis? Are you all right?
I'm fine. As you can probably tell, my cameraman ran off during the commotion. I'm trying to put to words what I'm seeing here.
Try harder, Francis.
Oh, say can you see, by the dawn's early light, what's so
Francis. Francis, I don't mean to cut you off. I know there's a lot more to this poem, but I need to ask you something.
Okay, I wasn't really prepared to answer questions right now, but I'll try.
Francis, how can someone who promotes slavery speak about freedom?
Look, I know I'm probably not the best person to represent this country's ideals, but the moment still happened. A terrible person can do a great thing. I still listen to Michael Jackson. The poem is a national treasure. It's about a great moment in our country's history. It made history. You're watching history.
Wow. Looks like we really lost Francis. But it was incredible reporting.
I wish I had been there for that moment.
But he didn't really answer the question. Just, I think everyone should be able to have this moment.
Chad, we have to sign off.
I know. I just think we could stay in this moment a little longer.
Can we do that?
Who cares if we can? We should.
You never know. Maybe someone is actually watching.